Hello, storytelling Ron. I want to show you Christians in Space, how I'm getting it done for the Kickstarter, and just because I gotta get it done. I gotta get it done for myself and the players and for us Christian men, so we can have a Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Terminator, Warhammer 40K, Aliens, scary, sci-fi, futuristic, cool role-playing game where you go out and evangelize and plant churches. Huh? While dealing with killer bots, killer space bugs, cults, pagan cults, and the Empire and its powerful dominators who go around as super agents, oppressing everybody. The players in my campaign have not yet met the dominators. I just got to make sure I give them the dominators, like plus 20 to everything, plus 17 die ranks to everything. So I just want to show you what you'll be getting if you're in the Kickstarter, which is going on right now. Let's move over to this. That's good enough. Okay, so I call it the rule book because I was going to do a rule book for everything, and then have the settings: Dark Ages, Apocalypse, and Christians in Space. But I just, so I'm gonna move it back to every. I guess like Free League does. Every game just has the rules in it, and has the it's just, and because there's little nuances here and there that sort of might change based on each setting, and I'm just gonna go ahead and lighten up a little. I'm trying to make it all concrete and consistent for all of them, but I think I got to lighten up on that and allow some freedom for you and me and the rules to kind of be organic with each setting. So I'm going to do that. It's a little more fun that way, I think. A little more relief. Okay, what I'm trying to do though in the first few pages is do like a little kiddie infographic for kids, for new players. Obviously Christians, and maybe you want to have your wife play, the aunt play with the kids. And I just did this morning, sort of working on. I'll kind of get it a little bit better than this. Like, I think I need a section, make each little section, so it's easy to break it up. But the basic game is D20 plus your trait, which are these down here, just like your ability scores, and then you get die ranks for skills. So, and skills in this game are whatever you can come up with. I want to do, I have a few sort of common ones that we use, but you can come up with any skill. And as a GM, you kind of help them narrow down their skills as well based on your game. What you think they're going to, what they're saying and what you have in the game that they can implement. So, comlinks is one where they basically are really good at all kinds of it's for the computers, sensors on the ship, and the radio and all that. So it's everything to do with cloaking, scanning, hindering targeting, or helping your ship's targeting. It's all this, it's the whole sensor guy. So you can make up a skill like that, which is what I have in there. Repair weapons, repair ship. And I want the skills, as a GM, you want them to have not too general. You want them to be like specific to their sort of that area. So like weapon upgrades to me is different from, weapon upgrades and building are the same, but weapon repair is different from weapon engineering. So if you're creating a weapon or upgrading it, that's one skill. If you're repairing a weapon, to me, that's a different skill. So I do break it down like that. You can, that's up to you. If you want to just say just weapons, they know how to weapon skill or weapon tech. They can build, repair. If you want to do it that way, that's fine. It's because there isn't like a concrete list of skills. You all decide, how detailed or how general do you want to make those skills. I'm trying to make them more sort of specific. And so when they get these skills, they buy die ranks, and as they buy die ranks with their glory points, they go up 1, 2, 3, and each one costs the number. So if you want to go up to the third die rank here, the D8 bonus, it costs you 3 glory points. So which is the experience points, and we just use like 1 for you get glory points for 1 for showing up, 1 for doing cool, nifty things, 2 for doing tough, strenuous things, not necessarily violent, but with tension for sure. And then 3 glory points for planting a church. And 2 is more the evangelism. You get 2 for evangelism, and then some violent stuff if you have to deal with like major violent stuff, and then 1 for helping out people, and then protecting people, and some violent stuff there. Obviously, you want to, as a GM, you want to encourage and give them more glory points for evangelizing, converting the enemy than killing them. But in this game, there's going to be lots of fun violence. Yay! Fun, crazy stuff. But obviously, you want to have the violence be more like this sort of killer bugs, killer robots, killer, mutants that don't have any souls, that kind of a thing. So that's kind of where that's at. And that's what this, definitely plenty of combat. So yeah, you can go up in the skills, and it just goes up to D12, and of course, yes, it'll go up beyond that, which is not part of the easy part. So keep them sort of in the max them out at 5, but they're going to actually get extra dice because of blessings. So here you can see that for combat, it's to hit versus defense of 12, but of course the opponent gets to add their aware if they have a shield or helm, and if they get cover, and the GM will kind of not arbitrarily, but a GM could change this number based on these, and especially if you're playing with kids, you could just keep it at 12. You might want to say 14 or 16 if you think they really got some good cover and whatever. But you can just keep it at 12. Which is that's fine. As you play and get more experience, obviously these are going to matter more. You're going to start adding these on to the 12 as a GM. And for shooting, it's your aggression for fighting and aware for aiming. You got your skills, which is this thing here for the weapons to hit. Blessings, you have blessings, which is just like casting spells, magic, or whatever. But Christians have blessings, like blessed, that'll give a bonus to hit. And then of course, whatever the weapon may give a bonus if it's got something. And trait test is another. So there's only really 3 kind of roles: combat, trait test, and trait versus trait. And trait test is like sciencey stuff, engineering stuff, repairing stuff, discerning stuff, whatever, investigating. And obviously the goal is to beat a 12. But if there's any penalties, the penalties refer mainly, as a GM kind of decides on all these things here. But the penalties would be like if they're wounded, is the person hurt or penalized when they're doing it? That's the main one for penalties. Environment would be, is it dark? Is it cloudy, foggy, whatever? And then GM decides other factors too. It's cold and damp, or you're under combat, so you have it's making it harder for you to discern what the slime is or whatever. So and of course for the trait roll, you got your trait, which is usually intellect for sciencey stuff, but it could be engineering, so that's more of a savvy. If you're just doing like maintenance, like repairs, it's savvy, because savvy is like technology and secrecy put together. Savvy, it's just how well you are good at doing things. You have a skill in something like weapon repair or doctor stuff, research stuff. This is also could do with comlinks, doing radio scans and scanning things. Okay, and then down here, trait versus trait is for evangelism and trading, like doing trades, like business trades, but also for evangelism. You're trying to appeal to someone or change their mind about, mainly, in this game, evangelism isn't about converting them, right? It's not about that. It's about getting them to be receptive to a church, to allowing us Christians to plant a church in the area to then preach to the locals. That's the main essence of evangelism in this game, and really as a Christian. And that's the main essence of a Christian. When you play a game, you're getting the local people to accept peace, so that they can accept a church. Now, obviously, you evangelize them in the sense of accepting Jesus Christ, and you want that too. So, but that is always in the token of, or whatever, angle of, I like what you're teaching about this Jesus person. I want to learn more of what you're saying. Oh, good, we'll plant a church now. We'll set it up. And once you set up a church in an area, and the locals, the villagers, the local space inhabitants or whatever, then boom, you get 3 glory points, and we role play, some sort of church growth there or whatever. And then you hear now about the next planet over where they have, slavery and oppression or whatever. But And what's in this game too, what's cool is the churches you plant could have problems. They could be attacked. They could have a mission for you. They could call for you. They need some help, etc. And there's some tables and roles for that as well that GM can do. So that's a lot of fun. My players had to deal with that at one point because they have a church plant. Okay, so that's the basic 3 roles in this game. Obviously, there's more details here. I listed this off. I don't know. I think this might be too much for kids to want to look at, so I gotta rethink that. I think I made some simple characters. I'm gonna go through a couple here just to show you an example of characters. So the Star Crusader's one, and here's his basic traits. And you can even have like the kids or whoever play with these. You can print these out and then just have them use these. But so the defense of this guy is 17. He has armor save of D12 and D4, so that's a big armor save. It's a power armor save. So if they get hit, they reduce the damage by that much. Now I've heard that, and it's a concept that I even want to maybe go talk to my players about. But having this additional, so you roll to hit, right? Then you roll for damage, which is typical. But in this game, the defender gets to roll their armor save to reduce your damage, and in many instances that comes to 0. So even though you roll really good and you roll damage, the defender could reduce that to like 0 or minimum of 1 if the armor and the weapon damage are comparable. If the weapon is a laser rifle D12 D4, right, and then you do an armor save at D12 D4 and you totally go to 0, I would say minimum of 1. That's kind of like an open rule though, but it's a GM decision rule. But I've heard people a couple times now with play testings that it's weird, and there's even been times when people when I roll that, they're like, oh man, I just hit him and he's armor. But plenty of times it goes the other way, right? So is that a bummer or not? It's only a bummer in the sense of you shouldn't have new players go up against something with a really high armor save. That's really the important thing here. When you first introduce new players to something, when you have the enemy, soldiers or enemy monsters, don't pick ones that have high armor saves or lower their armor save, because that's kind of it's a game mechanic that's a bit frustrating, I think, for new players. So don't put them up against things that have high armor saves. And then of course let them have a high armor save, because when they roll that armor save, they're like, whoo, But I would just recommend early on, don't have them go up against high armor saves, because the high armor saves is important to me. I do medieval armored combat. Here, let me go back to my. I do medieval armor combat. I have full plate armor. And when I fight, that it's very important, very relevant to the game. It's I use my armor. I don't care, when someone hits me and stuff. And it is and if you're really well armored, there's kind of a slow progression in taking each other down, and even if like in our game, the goal is to trip someone, but in real life, even if you trip me, you still have to get through my armor. You got to find the right spot, and you get bonuses obviously for if I'm down on the ground, kind of a thing. But it really matters. So I do want to keep it the way it is. I kind of want to talk to my experienced players and see, should that number be a solid number? Because I know in Star Wars RPG, it's a solid number, and it's generally a low number. Mine can potentially be really high for the power armor stuff. But again, the biggest in the game now with the experienced players, it seems this goes rather quickly, and they're dealing with it. And when it happens, when the enemy has a high armor and saves, they're like, oh man, this guy's got high armor, and it kind of plays out okay because we're all used to the die rolls now. But again, my suggestion in the beginning is don't have them go up against full plate or power armor enemies or creatures with thick, dragon hide scales and stuff. So that's the armor save part of it. Here's where you get your vitality, which is your hit points, and it just shows you here. And just so you know, in this game, I really want men to be men and women to be women. Oh, I'm a Christian. I don't want women really wielding battle axes and thinking they can run around like a man and do what a man does. Sorry, my little morning breakfast here. This game to me is very important that we separate out men and women, and I've seen every woman that's played this game was a little like, oh, couldn't believe that they're weaker and all that. But boy, did they get into it. They got into it playing it as a woman. And every one of them has been a great experience, a wonderful experience. To see a young girl with her brother, and to see her say, brother, you go forward. And the brother says, all right, I'll move forward to protect her. That is just a wonderful, awesome thing. The boy knows he needs to move forward and do his thing as a man. She knows she needs to get back and do from behind, support from behind, crossbow, or, do other things like distractions. I don't want women thinking they just charge forward with a battle axe. I think that's silly. That's not even interesting to me. That's boring. You've just erased womanhood then. The women in this game realize their strengths are in different areas and then go for those. So they have very good sort of mothering and caring and nursing. So if they do, and cooking, little extra bonus. If they do that, they will like they get information out of people easier. They calm people down, all kinds of interesting things that they can role play that are women based or generally women have a little bit better, chance at doing. So it's really important to me. Okay. That we don't erase women in our games, which is, if you see my other videos, that's what RPGs do not bring equality to the game by saying women are exactly like men. They just erase women in all the game stats and game rules. They just erase women. That's what they're doing. Okay, faith points is based on the spirit, and that you can spend to give you obviously a little extra bonus. So a 1 is a D4, spending 2 is a D6. And these, and obviously he's only got 1, so you can only do glory and you can do a D4. So glory is like, is that glory in D&D, like the paladin, extra damage? Very rare to get an extra damage bonus. That's very rare. You don't even get your aggression on it. But you can't, there's ways to do it, but it's rare. But one way is with faith points. And if he spends 1 on glory point, he'll get an extra D4 damage to the roll, to do damage for the Lord, may the Lord, give us strength and more damage. And you get your faith points per encounter. So it refreshes very quickly. That's one of the rules. There's other little extra rules, but that's the basics. So if a kid is playing this, you could tell them they get to spend an extra D4 once per encounter for damage. They got to declare it, whatever. Or, for a kid, you can just whenever they want. Gear and armor, I just put some stuff down here, just basic, the basic armor or gear, laser rifle, power armor, ammo. So if they use up an ammo, if they roll a nat 1 and, you roll the ammo category, then they have to mark one of these off and know they're running out of ammo, kind of a thing. And ammo is just for every ammo. I just keep it, I want the concerns of gear, but I want it to be very simple and happen during gameplay, not a sort of, we got to keep a log every game of what it's during those nat 1s that you then have to deal with the loss of ammo or gear or whatever. You don't have to worry about it as far as a regular day-to-day thing. Combat. So you can see here's his combat skills. He's got a +3 for his awareness up here. That's the aiming part. +1 DR is 1 die rank, so that's a D4. As you can see, this is the little chart here. D4, each one goes up progression. And the reason why I'm using die ranks now instead of say +D4 or +D6, +D8 is because there could be other factors that could change this DR. I could give him a high ground, give him another DR. So he's got 2 DRs now. You could do that as a GM. Well, or you could say, do I get high ground and I can see better? Oh yeah, I'll give you an extra DR. So he says, okay, I got 2 DRs now. So what's 2 DRs? Okay, that's a D6, And then I got high ground, and what else? What is another just quick thing? High ground, aiming. Oh, you can aim. And aim is a little rule where if you're not moving in this turn, you can add an aim to your thing. So, okay, he gets another DR. So 3 DRs. So what is a 3 DR? That's a D8. He gets a +D8 to his laser gun. So it's +3, +D8, +D20. Okay. And then the damage is just for a laser gun is D10. And I think there's an armor piercing. I didn't include it right here, but the GM would know, and so it reduces the armor save of the target. Laser rifle, a little more damage there. D12 DH, keep highest. Okay, so just be aware of that. There is a point now where you could go from a die rank 5, which is D12. you could go to a die rank 6. Okay. So a die rank 6 is a D12 plus a D4 because you're adding a second now, going above and beyond. Here, you're going above the D5 to a D6. So that adds a D4. But it's keep the highest. Okay. So it doesn't add, for this one in particular, it doesn't add, it keeps the highest. So it's a D4 and a D12. You keep the highest, which kind of helps, reduces the chance of rolling just a 1 and, that kind of thing. So it makes it a slightly better. However, for power, he's got a power hammer here. When something is a power armor or power hammer or military grade or a brute, instead of keeping the highest, if you got more than one, if you got 6 die ranks or more, you add it. And those are rare. Those are specific to power stuff, so this power hammer is a kind of top of the line weapon, given to them right at the beginning. But there it is. So it's a D12 plus D4. Then if he did his glory along with the power hammer, the glory damage is even separate from this. So he'd get a D12, a D4, and then a separate D4 for the glory because it's holy damage, and holy damage is always separate from all the other dice. So that makes it a little more powerful, because you're adding the die as opposed to doing this little keep highest thing here, which is so that's a little bit tricky thing going on with the keep highest or adding die. Keep highest is the norm though, just so you know. For skills and for regular weapons and all that, if they get high, like die rank 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, 10 is obviously a D12, keep the highest. And then 5 is D12 and then 8 is 3, so D8. So D12 and a D8, roll those and keep the highest for your skill roll or a laser rifle roll. If you, upgrading a laser rifle to a D8 here, D12, D8 is a very tough research or weapons upgrade skill roll. But anyway, so clergy, let's move on to clergy real quick. You got the traits here. You got the defense of 12. He's got an armor save of D2. See, so he's only like thick little robes or whatever. He's only a male, so he's got this is his hit points. And if you want to go up more in hit points, it costs you glory points. You have to spend the glory points to get more, and it gets more and more expensive as you try to. So hit points in this game is going to be relatively low, below 20, generally speaking, for most of the game. Even as you go up in glory points and stuff, you're going to be a lot less than 20. So this is going to be a tough game as far as make sure you got some good armor. So the armor saves really matter. So his faith points are 4, and this, by the way, can be upgraded. You can spend glory points to upgrade faith points, and he's got bless, which adds a die to a bonus die to someone else. He can heal, so he can heal like a D. If he spends one of those faith points, he can heal D4. He can protect, so that adds a D4 to their defense. So he can protect you, may you not be harmed, and may the Lord protect you. And so he gives them a D4 to their next roll, and rebuke is, back, you evil minions, you evil whatever. He can't do rebuke obviously to space worms or killer robots, but to mutant marauders he could affect them and drain them literally of hit points. So it doesn't kill them necessarily. It's not like that. It just drains them of resolve. So when you get to 0 on your hit points, your vitality, that reflects bruises and pain, but it also reflects exhaustion and even resolve. Like when you're at 0, you're not necessarily dead, but you're just you don't want to do anything. Now, if and this is sort of GM's discretion, but if you go below 0, or if you get hit by weapons and go below 0, then you have life saves. But if you go to 0 just based on rebuke or your own little exhaustion thing, there's no life saves. You're not dying. You're just giving up and exhausted and laying there, semi-unconscious or whatever. So he's got gear and armor, basic stuff. He's got a Bible plus 1 DR. What does that mean? Well, it's kind of up to you and the GM. It's to preaching, maybe it's to praying. If he's got a Bible, obviously that's going to help you with all that. So whenever he wants to pray, he can get an extra die rank bonus to that. And his padded civvy armor there, laser gun. The Bible also, we allow it to be a shield, like hold it up and don't get shot. Of course it damage your Bible, but laser gun. He's got a laser gun. He's got skills preach. Yeah, so he's got spirit plus 4, plus 1 die rank. So that if he adds his Bible, holds his Bible up and preaches to them, this is the Bible of the Lord, God of words, God, and preaches, he could affect people and change their minds about being anti-Christian or just because most people obviously in the galaxy are not anti-Christian because they don't know what Christianity is at all. They are against, other cults. They think you're a cult, perhaps, or religions, because they were taught to be very secularist and humanist in the galaxy. But they will definitely have made up their own gods, right? Pagans make up any kind of. They will worship the reptilians that enslave them. They will worship the slavers that enslave them. They will worship the killer robots that come around and raid them. They will worship them and sacrifice and give up to them, And so you got to preach to them and break through that sort of enslavement mentality that they have, that hopelessness that they have. And once you do, and I as the GM have to role play that, those guys, but once you do, then you can plant a church. And by planting a church, you actually have Earth, which is sort of hidden back in, it's hidden. It was abandoned by the One World government, or the One Galactic government now. Og has abandoned Earth and actually erased it from the astronomy, maps or whatever. So no one even knows Earth exists anymore, because they thought they nuked it and got rid of it. And but the Christians now are secretly going out to mission. And when you plant a church, they will send ministers to minister the church, while you as missionaries go off to do the next mission, next thing. So that's kind of the storyline. But the Empire, Og, will eventually in the campaign become aware of you, and they, and the Dominators and whoever was the original creators of the Empire, they know what Christianity is, and they will awaken once they know there's churches being planted around, and then become this, and then this will become an epic campaign of Empire versus the rebellion, kind of a thing. And there are remnants in the storyline, in the campaign. There are remnants, so those are kind of like the rebellion, but they're all scattered and pagan still, so they don't know what to hope for. And the freedom fighters are rare and far and few between. Many of them just surrendering or backstabbing. So, okay, so that's that. There's some, a technician, and there's some pilots. Women can be pilots. There's specifically a woman evangelist, which is kind of like the nun in the Dark Ages setting. So that's specific to her, and the medical doctors, a scientist, an engineer, and all of these there's no I don't put it to where, you have to be an engineer. You can, when you are an engineer, you can upgrade and move your traits and your skills in any direction you want. You can go to combat. You can go to, you become a preacher, as an engineer. These are just how you start off. But there's no limit to which direction you want to go with your character. Once you make these. And these are some character sheets you can use. I just got 2 different versions here I just made up that you can, as they play along further. You could do like a one-shot with these and just try it out in a simple, low level, low armor save, encounter. Oh, I should do. All right, that's something I got to do. Oh, let me write that down. Make a simple, fun, all package adventure right here. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So so you as a GM and they as players can play this out. I'll include the map piece, map pieces so they can print it out, pieces and tokens. So you have everything you need right there, and it'll be small little adventure, explaining everything. I have one, but it's a little, I guess maybe a little more complicated. It's not complicated. It's just over here, and I'll get to that. But I will probably even scale that down to something even smaller here, almost like a one pager, a couple pages, but with the tokens and everything, but a one pager kind of easy mission for you to start off with. Definitely. Yes. Okay. I will do that. So there's a timeline of the story. This is the one part I say I could copyright, but if you're a Christian and you want to take this and run with it and create stuff, man, please just contact me. Let me know, give me credit, but I need you to do stuff and be free and be able to make it yourself. Even if I own this part of the storyline, you own everything you create, and can do whatever you want and give me just credit, and I'll say fine, whatever. But we need more Christian RPGs. We need mission evangelist based Christian RPGs and stories and movies and TV shows. We need more evangelist church planting adventure stories. Church history, and all that. So this is me cleaning up, working on. I'm really trying to organize the second edition games rules. I'm replaying around with the formatting. I'm not a graphic artist kind of guy. I'm more of a doodler, fine art guy. So I don't have an eye for adding little flares and things. Although I'm trying to do this, there's like just all the weapons on one page. You know, I'm trying. Also, I am making this so that it's very GM friendly. Like you can use this book at the game table. It's not meant to be fancy schmancy and thick paper and hard to lay down. I really want it to be something you could lay this on the table, spread out. I mean, I have to use the spine based on the drive-through. It's obviously perfect bounds, with the spine. It's not like I would prefer stapled because that's easy to open up. Because I did some print tests here, with stapled. I have a sci-fi one here somewhere, but I grabbed this one. So this is the Apocalypse one. And, it's stapled, and I really like that because then you can just, you can sort of abuse it and put it at the table and open up the rules and have the combat pages like right there. So that's very handy. But that option, they don't have that option in drive-through. So okay. So this is, I'm working on just cleaning it up and getting it all. The one part that I am having to really want to simplify, yet I keep adding more and more details to it, is the die rank result. This is such an awesome higher level kind of role thing, especially for the engineers, like making magic items, making, when you get into making magic items like in D&D and stuff, that's when the characters are in, and this is a campaign, and it's going to go on and they're delving into the upgrades, and I want that to be part of the game. I love that too. It's I did it in Star Wars RPG. I even had me and a guy go off and role play a separate couple of sessions where he would just engineer stuff. That's how nerdy we got into it. I do want it in this game too, so that's why this part here, this part especially, this is actually extra rules. This is all extra rules here, but this page here, and I'm trying to bring it down to a page, simplify it down, but this is all crafting, engineering, upgrading, and I'm finding die rank results are really helpful for many things, because a lot of the rules in your game aren't just succeed or fail, right? A lot of the rules are how much do you succeed by, how much do you learn in the research, how much do you do your comm links and sensors to counter or censor or detect the other ship, in electronic warfare. How much do you gain over the other person? And so that's what these rules are about. And let's say you roll, just to keep this simple, you roll a 20 and they roll a 10. So you beat them by 10. So to me, 10 is 5 die ranks, which is D12. You beat them so you get a D12, and this is in the rules here, but you get a D12 that you can then spend on bonuses or it's 5 die ranks. I apologize. Not D12. D12 is 5 die ranks, but you get 5 die ranks. So you can spend that on on your piloting. You give it to your pilot, give it to your targeter, hamper their shooting, add it to the defense of your ship as an electronic warfare. You can start, I'm targeting you. There's a thing over there, I'm, pilot, there's this information, So everyone gets like a one die rank bonus, that you can spread out because you beat them by 5 die ranks, or you could spend all 5 on one person, the shooter. There's an opening here, fire at that, that, and they get a D12 to their roll. So it's because it's the 5 die ranks. So that's what this is all about. So in a combat situation, the electronic warfare guy, the comlinks guy, has a role like that. The piloting guy has a handling role like that as well. So if they did the exact same thing I just said there and got 5 die ranks, they could add that to the ship, to their own shooting, to the defense of the ship, because they're, or even to the targeters that are their own shooters, that kind of thing. So same thing. So everyone gets a role that matters, especially those two. They get roles that do die rank results, and then the other people like can shoot or repair. Repair is a die rank result too. If I hit your ship and damage it, they roll. And if they roll that, they get a success of 20 or whatever and get a 10, they get 5 die ranks to, which reduce whatever, they can roll that let's say they do a D12, they roll that and they roll a 10, they can repair 10 points of damage to their ship. So it's that kind of direct, so I'm really using this, and I really like the way this kind of falls, incorporates into the game. All right. A lot more stuff down here. Especially the ships here and vehicles. I'm putting those together here. Add more ships. I'm going to add more in this, more pages. But these are the ships. And I think some of you have already been following my videos, I hope. And you can see that this is the way the game looks. You got ships here, and the ships are literally battle maps. So you can have skirmish battles. And here, here they're shooting. They did some silly rolls where they were doing targeting practice in the ship. Well, he didn't get shot, but they were targeting practice, I put this up. But we're literally moving around in the ship as we're role playing and playing the game and talking to people and doing stuff. And look at this. This is a space station they went to. So all these assets are going to be available for Christians in Space, for you to do on Foundry or Roll20 or whatever. It's all WebP files, low files. So these are all available for you to use. I didn't notice that before. Let me just move that up. Put this here. Okay, so these are all available for you to use in the game if you get the VTT stuff. Here they are dealing with getting a weapon upgraded from some togas. That's right. Oh, so the aliens in this, just to remind you, the aliens in this Christians in Space setting are all genetically modified humans. There's no, aliens. I don't believe in aliens. I'm a creation science guy. I believe that God created all life here on Earth and out there in the universe. We know absolutely that life cannot form randomly, and they know that. Even the atheists know that. That's why they created the multiverse, which is so ridiculous. They know that is mathematically impossible for life to form. So in the known universe, with all the known freaking stars and galaxies and the ones that are hidden in the little black reaches of space. Anyway, all right. Don't get me started. Okay. So all of them are genetically modified. The OG, one galactic government terraformed all these planets and then genetically modified all humans and beasts and creatures and planted those based on the planet to survive, like Sharkmen in a ocean world, or we have Tuscans. I have ogrigs over here. So these are sort of like big ogre dudes that, get hired out and work in the mines and all that. So this is all cool, man. And there's a cantina type place over here they went to. Decanoids, these are crab dudes they're hilarious, and they even converted some decanoids. Oh, let me go back there real quick. Right over here. They converted these guys. They captured them in a pirate space battle. Let me show you that one real quick. Where is it? I'm sorry, I'm just excited. I apologize. Where is it? Orbital shuttle? No, that was a different one. Dreadbot battle? Oh, that was a different one. See, they have all the count. Here it is. So here's the space battle. Now this is the Newman of the space battle. They defeated them, but they had a ship-to-ship battle. Then they boarded them and had a combat in there. And of course, they had to take some dudes out. This is PG-13, so the blood's going to be green. Well, it should be red. I should make some red splat. There's some. They even took out their big cannons. Tempe, their servobot, is going to fly the ship as they put them in the little cages for now, just temporarily. But then, of course, they converted them. They literally converted them. So officially, in this campaign, they can now have characters that are decanoids who are Christian. And same with the togas. These are the togas that they rescued. They're part of the planet. They can now officially make a character that has a toga. And they have different traits and stats and skills that add, that give them bonuses to their character that are, because they're genetically engineered to be a specific way. And then these are regular people that are slaves, and they're like, oh, we want to be slaves. We're afraid. We have no hope, and they're trying to talk to them. No, you can be free. And they're like, you're going to take us back to the slave trading center? What are you going to, are we your slaves now? No, we have the Lord Jesus Christ. Oh, is he ours? Do we slave to him? Well, no, you're free, but so, you know what I mean? There was like, it's evangelism, and it's fun, and it's silly. And of course they had a space battle. So that's all here. Okay. And just so you can see, this is the creature stats, or when I make a NPC or whatever, and they're very simple. GMs, it's very simple. You can I kind of like the freedom to you can just kind of make up what you want for skills and items they have. There's just a few generic things that you can have them carry. You can come up with your own weapons. Just kind of know the basic chart and basic sort of categories of what they are. But and this is the red cult they converted. And they even had a Christmas special with this witch. She was a witch. She made drugs and drugged them all to be zealots. But she's now been forgiven, and she's now named Rose, and she is a Christian now. They even had a Christmas special where they had a Christmas with this junk pile, but they put lights on it and made it a Christmas tree and taught the people about hope. And this is a church, by the way. This is the church. This is a floating platform above a icy planet, where all the togas live on different platforms. And they made a church, and they're now going to go out to evangelize to the togas on this planet. And the missionaries are now going off to other planets to try and convert these people. So in the Kickstarter game, you have these different planets. Raptorine, Solaqua, Hydroscoop Station, which is what I just showed you. Planet Flotsam is where you start the mission. Earth is right here. So there's the Bernard Star is the first place they go to. And that's the first mission or adventure I would have you play out as well to practice. And then there's Leyland Corporation, which has some missions on it. And that's all part of the Edge sector. This is part of the Edge sector. And then the Dead Zone is going to be over here. And of course, it's got the Mutant Marauders, and some other races in here and stuff and cool stuff. Let me show you a little bit of that, though I'm not want to because my players always watch these, so oh well. So Leyland is let me do the Leyland Space Station. This is like a corporate space station, so a little higher end stuff they can go and check out. But there's also Fuel Depot G, which they did hear about, and there's slavers. It's Leyland Corporation runs it, but it's sort of a black market type thing. But why not? It's legal. Slavery is legal in pagan worlds, right? So why not? Okay. The other places they got to go to is Raptorine, which is here. Oops. This is the planet, and basically it's like Tatooine. It's a Tatooine kind of place. And there's a pipelines run across the planet where they get the terraforming factory waters the planet basically, but it's very old and rusty and full of holes and leaks and all that. And there's a trade hub where they can go and do some stuff. Hey, where's all the other stuff? I think this must be older. I think I should update the trade hub with this one because this one has way more stuff in it. Oh yeah, I'm a little more. I updated it here, so this one's better. I'm going to do this right now just because I don't want to forget. So you're just going to have to bear with me while I do my own little... Yeah, okay. That's fine. Let me delete this one because I don't need it. Okay. Also, there's a Raptorines, which are... Let me show you here. So this is an adventure that's interesting. They come here, they got to do a delivery or meet these people in a remote settlement, but they have Raptorines living nearby, and they do slave stuff. And the people worship the Raptorines. The Raptorines, by the way, are these lizard dudes here. And they're kind of like, they're like Tusken Raiders or whatever, the Sand People, but obviously more vicious, and they're more reptilian than human. They're actually reptilian with some human DNA in them, genetically modified, but they're definitely reptilian in nature. So they're evil. Absolutely. No need to convert them. Just fight them. They're beast. They're more beast than man. So they enslave the people. Their whole culture is conquer and enslave. And so the people here are subjugated to them, and they keep us safe as long as we give them our children, so it's kind of a way of also to reflect what paganism is today and stuff. So, okay. So there's that. There's way more planety stuff I don't want to show you because my players are always watching this. But I got some scary stuff going on over here. I'm just showing you a little bit. There's a cool space stations going on here. Some other planets. Solaqua. Yeah, I'll show you Solaqua. That's acceptable to me. All right. So this is an ocean world. There's some plots and stories going on here. Okay. I got them all written down in the thing. I'm still working on it, obviously. And these are all available obviously for VTT. You get everything here, including the, you're not going to get, okay. I don't think you're going to get, well, I guess I could put this whole image in here. I just haven't thought about that, but you get all these pieces so you can make your own that looks like this or looks something like this. But I just copy pasted, and it took me only a few minutes to make any one of these. So you can make your own. And it's fun. It's a really neat way to prep as a GM on Foundry. And Foundry is really cheap. It's only $50, you know, and I have very few. I use the minimal basic Foundry. I don't have a bunch of, you know, the only real modules I have is the dice tray over here and the 3D dice. But most everything else I'm not using. I'm just using the basic Foundry. Okay. And is the music playing? Oh my goodness. No, it's not playing. Okay. I also have music available, so there's going to be a lot of music coming your way if you choose. These are all original, by the way. These Star Wars ones, I created all these myself. So I will be. Oh, here's the sci-fi one. I would definitely be getting. You'll be getting the sci-fi scores for sure. I don't know what else yet, but I'm adding more to it as well. And they're all at least 10 minutes long, and they're good for background type, adventure for role-playing games. All right, so I think that's it for now. That's my little overview of what I'm doing for Christians in Space. The Kickstarter, you get a full-on game with, a couple of game settings here. I try to keep it simple and easy as far as understanding the game. But I guess you do need to be experienced as a GM to run it. If you're like a new person that wants to GM, email me if you want to play in one of my games to test it out, try it out and see how it works and all. That's fine with me. I'm happy to help out in any way I can. All right. So Kickstarter, Christians in Space. Thanks for listening or watching. Please support it. It can be your ministry. Oddly enough, I think it's my ministry, because you're evangelizing in it and planting churches and talking about church history and talking about evangelism, talking about the Lord in it, and also talking about paganism, being aware of what your mission field is, but also having fun. It's not a burden, and you can create your own little worlds and stuff too if you want. I have obviously that first world, that first known galaxy spot, but you can do random. You can beyond this. You can go out and start making your own planets and stars and all that, and the Empire could go off to this direction, and who knows what else is going off in that direction. Different little worlds and stuff. So, all right. So in the game of life, for the Lord RPG, Christians in Space, roll holy dice.